Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, welcome to a very, very special edition of the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show. Now, obviously, our usual program is on Sunday, but it is still a special edition owing to the fact that we are hosting the show at a different time of the day. Hello, are you there, Director?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, all right. So please stay with me. So we usually host our show every Sunday, 8 p.m., and obviously we are hosting today 4:30 p.m., 30 minutes behind time. I want to apologize for that. Both the director and I were trying to get our lines together, the phone line. As you know, every time we host people from overseas, we do have a little technical issues. But we are glad he's finally with us, and I want to apologize for the delay. I do want to thank you for being here. And so with that said, our guest tonight, obviously, many of you came here as a result of the text messages and communications that were sent out. So I assume by now you know that our guest is Honorable Abraham Kromah, the Deputy Director of the Liberian National Police for Operation. In simple terms, he's the face of the Liberian National Police, the face for Operation. So everything the police does, for the most part, he handles that. In addition to being the Deputy Director for the Liberian National Police, he's also a criminal justice professor at the Zion University in Liberia. And so obviously, as you will imagine, he's very knowledgeable with the criminal justice system in Liberia. And so he's come to discuss any and every issue having to do with the criminal justice system, he told me. And so with that said, I will turn the floor over to the man himself so that he can make his introductory remark, and then shortly after that, we will begin entertaining your question. But even while he speaks, I have the question lines open. In the interest of time, just dial *61 on your phone, *61, dial that, and then your question will come over to me here. So as soon as he's done speaking, I will begin opening up your line, for you to have a say. So, Honorable A.B. Kromah, welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, it is a pleasing pleasure, a good opportunity for me to have this chance to discuss with you, converse with you on your issues, because it's very certain that you have the opportunity to exchange with brothers and sisters in the diaspora, because I had that situation myself. A year or two ago, I was out in the States. I done studies and trying to live my life there. And so having to be on the ground, I think it is a big opportunity and big pleasure for me. And first, I'd like to express a little regret. The director is traveling today, so I went to the RIA to put him on board the plane. From the RIA, he had a little bit of difficulties we had getting back here. And concerning the fact that it's rainy season around here, you have to be very careful as a job. Be that as it may, I'm here, and again, I want to express and extend my apologies for the delay and for the lateness. With that being said, I was asked to be part of this program to exchange with you my own insight on the situation back home, and some of the primary reasons why we left to come and join the reconstruction process. What is the justice system right now? What is the access to justice? Some of those issues that might be a problem to you, I think we will be in the position to try to give you some clarification, because you're not on the ground. Most often it is a little confusing for some of us, and we tend to make a lot of assumptions as to what are the realities on the ground. And being like you, understanding things from the viewpoint you have in some cases, we would like to be very, very frank with you, very candid, to the point where we're not going to hold back whatever you have. So we will actually consider a dialogue and openness for your questions, because that's where we stand. So basically, that's what we are. Whatever you have, whatever you want to talk about, you want to talk about the army drawdown. You want to talk about the justice system as we have it right now. You want to talk about the reduction of crime. Whatever you have that we can be of help to clarify, we can make some clarification. I actually had a chance before I came on. I was browsing yesterday, and I saw an argument with my assistant commissioner here for intelligence, and a friend of mine, grade, were having some dispute regarding the reason behind the reduction of crime, who's responsible, and all of those things. And we can make some clarification as to what we look at and how we all can wrap our minds around the real rationale behind the reduction of crime as we have it today in Liberia. So with that being said, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm open and I'm yours.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Director. Thank you so much for coming on. Folks, you've just heard the man, so your question lines are open. The challenge is yours to dial *61 so we can begin to continue your question. But as always, I like to take the first shot. So before I start opening your lines here, let me begin by asking the Deputy Director, as himself has alluded to the issue of drawdown in Liberia. May I begin by asking your Director as to how many, as of date, how many foreign troops, exact number I'm interested in, how many foreign troops we have, and what will security look like after the last man leave Liberia, the last foreign troop, that is, in your opinion?
I might not give you exact clue as to how many of the army folks here, because we have the UNMA, we have the OMPO. So if you want to catalog the foreign troop, you will not give an exact number. So because we have the United Nations police here, we have United Nations missions in Liberia. So if you add the military and the police, you still have considerable amounts. But if you have the police, the guys that are assisting with the police situation, they also have their own numbers as well. What is going to be reducing actually will be the military aspect of it. The military aspect has been reducing gradually. As we speak, we've taken over FOIA. The UN representation in FOIA has been turned over to, the UN post in FOIA has been turned over to us. And some other places will now take direct control of those areas as we speak. So I can't give you a direct number of the UN missions in Liberia. Most especially has to do with the military aspect. But I know they're reducing, and we have up to 2014 to have some. Basically, I thought this was going to be an issue, and it is a very serious issue. I probably would like to call you later on and give you some direct numbers.
Thank you. The second part of that question was, what do you think Liberia will look like after the last UN foreign troop leave Liberia? Do you think the Liberian National Police is ready to?
Thank you. I can assure you, the Liberian National Police is well prepared. We have the requisite trained manpower. We have the requisite mindset to take over from whatever establishment you have in the UN right now. Liberia will look like a new country coming out of war and going through transition. Transition meaning that we are progressing towards the democratic precept as we are right now. All of the tenets that should build a democratic nation, we have worked towards establishing those right now. And the police force that we have is reflective of that as we speak. We have one of the best trained police organizations. I can brag of that, and I'm not boasting. This is by record. It's there. It's established. The U.S. we just got back 20 men back from the U.S. The trainer to do that. We sent people to Botswana. We have an agreement with the Botswana police departments. We've sent people to France. We've sent people to England. We send people all around the world to come back and reconfigure the police as it should be. So Liberia will be a very suitable. Liberia is now a very stable place to be. After Army leaves, you have a police force that would have gone through a metamorphosis, a recreation, regeneration to reflect a post-conflict police organization that will basically be representative of the aspiration of the society that we find ourselves in.
Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to that, and I hope that's truly the case. So I'll begin taking your questions here. I'll take the first question. I got a few calls after our last show. Some of our audience were not very happy by the fact that their names were being called the way they were called. So from here onward, I will call your last 4 digits and ask for your name, where you're calling from, and your question. So you yourself may call your name. Forgive me, there's some names I recognize. Never mind, I will still call your 4 digit, so you can call your own name, where you're calling from, and your question. With that said, let me take the first caller for the day. I got 57415741. Your name, where you're calling from, and your question for Director Kromah.
Hello, my name is Country Boy. I'm calling from New York.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Honorable, for coming to our show to clarify things in our country, because our first priority in that country is security as we speak. I have a couple of questions to ask you. The first question is, when you came to the show, you did not show a strategy wherein when United Nations leave, the strategy you guys are going to put in place to secure that country. That's number one question. Number two question is,
say that again.
He said the first question is that he did not lay out a clear strategy as to what will happen when the foreign troops leave. That was the first question. A strategy. What's the strategy? Yeah. All right. What's the second question?
The number two question is, since for the first time when the Africans, after the crisis in Africans, and for the past time, we have had a complaint from the African side that there have been various, not one, not two, not three, various attacks from the Liberian side of the border, and which is true, and the government denied it, and the Liberian government publicized documentation and proof that the insecurity was from the Liberian side. I don't know how far you guys have gone into that. And number three question is,
let's keep it at 2 questions. We got too many people on the line.
That's the last one. Just 1 second. That's the last one. The last question is about the secular state. Liberia is a country that has been in war for 14 years. The secular issue has to be resolved. A country don't have to be a religious country if to say it is Christian or not Christian. A country has to be a secular state, and wherein all religions will be permitted to practice in the country. Thank you.
On your last, thank you for your questions. On your last question, I'll suggest you wait next week when we bring some of our policy makers from the House the issue of secular state. But then again, it's up to the guest if he cares to comment on that. Director Kromah, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes. Well, with regards to the strategy, what Liberia reflects, the good thing about what you have now, you have the leadership of the Liberian National Police. You have a well-seasoned, well-balanced with international and national experience running the police force right now. That's the blessing that Liberians will have to be very happy about. You have a director in Chris Massacre who has international experience in Bosnia and in some of the United Nations mission. He's a lawyer. He also has a master's degree. And so he is well-suited, well-stable. He might not have the energy and the, for lack of a better word, the flamboyance that some of us have since we're in operation. But he's the guy calling the shot. He's the guy who direct and tell a guy to what we do. So you have a stable guy like that running the police force at this time and during the transitional period. And you have the deputy for administration in Rose Tracker, who also has the international expertise. She works in corporate America, and she has a couple of master's degrees in public administration in business administration as well. And she runs the administration aspect of it. And you have me running the operation of the police force. I work in the United States. I work for the state of New Jersey as an investigator in the Superior Court. I work as the probation officer, and I grew up in the police force. I grew up. I joined the police force '85, and I rose to the rank of a captain. And before I was appointed deputy director of police for CID affairs in the interim government. And then I came back to the States and got a couple of graduate degrees, and I'm back helping to run the operation. So the Liberians at this point in time in our history should be very, very happy and very, very relaxed because we have this level of leadership. The strategy for me, we work towards establishing a community initiative strategy, getting to the community in a post-conflict like Liberia. You must have a forum, a platform where you basically reach out to the community to participate in the running of the affairs themselves. Because you're coming from war, we had a lot of apprehension from where we were to where we are now. You have to build that confidence and access to justice, which basically starts with the police to a larger extent, has to be free and has to be open. And that's what community policing initiating orientation has to be at the hallmark of most of what we're doing at this point. And the director has been very gracious to actually start to push that out. The last weekend before I left for the Ivory Coast, we're in West Point. We had a very elaborate program there. We're in Bourville today. We're going to Newtown next week. Now, besides that, we got commanders reaching out to other folks in other parts of the country. I was in Jordan the other day. We reached out there. There was in Nimba. We reached out to Wisenborn. So that is the strategy we're going towards, working towards reaching out to the community, allowing them to participate in whatever proactive strategy we have. You guys might be aware of the broken glass theory. And basically that's something we want to clear out. All of those things that will create crime in the rural location. That approach has been spread out to our community relation people, and we're also putting it out into our own modus operandi. So we're working towards establishing that as a first-hand approach towards how we reach out to the folks. That does not negate the fact that we will also be very proactive in getting to crime situations as we see them. We're building an effective response team that we've done towards the whole crime situation, teleguided and manipulated by the director of police as well. So we have a multifaceted, multi-approach, very, very, very straightforward towards the reduction of crime. That approach has been adopted by the director, and we are forcefully implementing that at this point. So that's how Liberia will look like. Liberia will look like a modern police force, a police force that has gone through very serious arrangement, and then to reflect where we are as a people at this point. There will be times where you have mob violence, that we also try to address the issue of mob violence. Mob violence for me, that's why I tell my students, mob violence, I'm not saying that we're not traumatized. I'm not saying that we've not gone through war. I'm not saying that it is going to be difficult to disabuse the people's minds of what they've gone through. But mob violence, to a larger extent, comes out as a result of people denial towards justice. People think that they do not trust the justice system and they want to take the law into their own hands. But if you have access to justice, if that access is clean, open, and fair, I think people will now resort into going to call the police. We've now seen the transformation, the transition from doing it themselves to asking for the police to come and intervene. That is the good step. And that has only been achieved by the director's own fact-settlement and ensuring that we carry on this community policing to the people, bringing the police to the people so the people can understand that we're not in the community only to arrest them. We're there to share with them as to the strategy that we adopted or what we thought that they can come and participate. So that's basically what we're going to be doing. We will be putting up those kinds of strategies so that people basically can live for them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, if you're just joining us, we say welcome to LIBERIAN. All right. Well, we say welcome to LIBERIAN Diaspora for a weekly talk show, special edition, if I might add. Special edition because we are having a show at 4 p.m. Instead of our regular hours of programming, which is 8 p.m. We just lost the director momentarily. His line just dropped. My best guess is that he's going to try to come back on very quickly here. So while we are with him, a couple of things. I do want to let you know that most of our past shows have been uploaded on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and look up Liberian Diaspora Forum and see the audio, video of most of our past shows, including Sheikh Afuma Kone speaking of his disagreement about TRC report, the commission that he served for. Joel Howard Taylor that some of you listened to earlier, and many more, the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Janet, and many more past good shows are now available on YouTube. You can look those up. And we also have a Facebook page, Liberian Diaspora Forum. I would appreciate it if you like us on Facebook. That means a lot to us. We do want to thank you for being here, and please stay with us as we await our director's return. Actually, while we await, let's just make this a quick break, as we await the guests. Please stay with us.
They call me again. You have a delicious. They call me again.
I own nothing.
I want business, so what got more punishment for them? That ain't been my salary.
Mama. I'm not Bobo.
The more competition, that's why I'm abrogating. But I can't tell you now how much they are competition. No slap. I slap the on there.
After every 6 years, different phases, different platforms. Some claiming to be the right one. For another year has come. Yeah. Who's gonna save us? Nah. Who's gonna wipe away our tears? From the east to the west, west to the north, from the north to the south, they got me again. From the air to the grind to the land, straight back to the sea, they got me again. That's also TMP for overseas, coming with la logic, they got me again. Be careful who you call your leaders, cause these suckers, they are so OGs, they got me again. They got me reap what they never sold, got me eat the food that a man they never cooked, they got me again. Got me suppressive fool, got me back to the land that is disrupting soul. Got me again with all type of strategy, calling them politics, but I said I politics. They got me to lie, got me to see, got me jelly, country jelly, elephant meat. I said they got me again with free regulation, free water rest and then free education. They got me with money, got me with car, everything I said, I so.
Good afternoon. I've noticed a few of you just joining us. We say thank you. Actually, no, the director is back. That's good. So I don't think we need to. We say thank you for joining the show. And the director line had dropped earlier. He just came by.
Kafuma.
Dr. Kromah, you back,
Kafuma.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I just saw that. Thank you. Welcome back. And that happens every time we force people from Liberia. Every now and then the line goes up. But thank you. So we would take the next call on that, and I was saying that for those of you who have asked questions and you have follow-up questions, by all means, please dial *61. We'll see if we can accommodate you again. If you haven't had a chance yet, again, do that *61. So we'll take our next caller, 7867. 7867. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from, and your question for Director Kromah.
Okay, good evening, Dr. Kromah. Okay,
good evening, sir.
Okay, my name is Musa Keita, currently calling from Minneapolis, in Minnesota.
Okay.
I think the line going off was not security matter. I was so afraid to something happen again. However, okay,
I like that.
Let's go back to the however, in your opening statement, you spoke as if to say everything was okay with the Liberian National Police. My question is everything okay with the Liberian National Police in terms of logistics, in terms of salary, in terms of the strength of the men? Because you are speaking and you have not expressed any frustration regarding your own operation. The operation controls the National Police. But I did not hear you mention that you have had problems regarding the strength of your men. Because if you read the papers for us in the diaspora, you notice that in Barclayville, the whole police depot there will be having 3 men. In Sobrican District, maybe you face 2 persons at the police depot. In your belief, if the strength of the international force reduce, 3 men responsible for a county can reduce the crime within a county. When Monrovia is not Liberia, Dr. Kromah? That's my question, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Keita.
All right.
Dr. Kromah? Yeah.
Yes, very good. That's a very good question. And maybe the forum will not give me the chance. I will not have the time to give you all of the conditions that is set for the transformation process, the transition process. Right now, we instead of training basically 1 class, we're doing 2 classes at the same time, so as to augment the manpower need for the transition process. Our post pre-war numbers we had, pre-war numbers we had will be, when I was in the police force, we had 10,000 before the war. Now we have pretty close, not less, very, very less than that. Maybe I tell you about 4,000 plus. So you see, we're almost not even 50%. But that we have scheduled to arrive at certain numbers at the end of before the transition process is over. So all these areas you have there, Barclayville, I got Lofa County, and all of the big counties. Yes, the number is very less right now because you have all-male augmenting the position of the LNP in those areas. After the transition, after we've gotten all of these guys coming from the Liberia Police Academy, we now established a police training academy in Grand Coup County. The hub is going to be going to that area. So we have plans in getting the manpower need, the capacity to capacitate the fellows, the guys, to actually take over from Army as we find them. All right, but so my explanation is convoluted to having all of these conditions so as to certify the transition process. We're not saying that everything is roasted in the police force because obviously even the NYPD has problems. And our police force, basically, it's not a section. We just one of the many police arrangements around the world. We have logistical problem right now. It's huge. Government is working towards it. We've now gotten clearance for non-lethal weapon. Non-lethal weapon is being processed for us at this point, and the director is on his way to the States right now. He's going to be making some other arrangement there, which will be aired very shortly. So we are working towards alleviating some of these serious problems we have logistical-wise. But I can assure you that for some of us as police administrators, we understand this, and maybe we've not had the opportunity to explain to you exactly some of the steps that we're taking to actually address the media report you've got out there. Some of them are factual, some of them have been better up just to certify the level of understanding of the folks that are putting up. But yes, indeed, we have logistic problem. We have manpower need. And those things are things that we are working on a regular basis. The people graduating from the academy not too long ago. New class just started going in. got a PSU being trained. We got now training moving into the interior of the country, in the interior part of the country. So we're moving towards reaching out maybe about 8,000 or so that will be filling up as soon before the transition period is upon us. So we are making sure we're working towards addressing these things. I want to repeat these things and emphasize them because it is important that you understand that a 2-3 men you're talking about. No, we do not have 3 men taking care of the whole county. They can be a depot. I've traveled the land and bread of this country since I took over. I know exactly how many men we have in several places. But if a whole county can be 2-3 men, my brother, that is an overstretch. That is too much of a fabrication. But that's the viewpoint of the person who provided that to you. But there we do have manpower problem. We do have logistical problem that we are addressing as we speak. I just came from the Ivory Coast last night, and I went straight into working some of the issues that we have. So no, we do understand, and we do understand that they are there. We do know that it is an impediment, and we're addressing it.
Thank you. Folks, if you want to keep your questions brief so we can accommodate everyone, it's after 5 p.m. here. Obviously, it's after 10 in Liberia, just 1 after 10. So keep your questions brief and perhaps one question at a time so we can accommodate everyone. 2170-2170, your name, where you calling from, your question for the director.
Yes.
2170-2170, what's your name, where you calling from, and your question?
Hello,
you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your question?
No, actually, I don't have a question, but I listen to the program. I just want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Honorable Kromah. And when I was back home in Liberia, I see him to be a nice gentleman. He dressed, and he had potential as a good security-minded man. And at the time he served and during the interim government, I know the government conclusion when Alhaji Kromah was in the government at the time. He served, I think, at the military, chief of staff or something like that. So in the public manner, I just wanted to know. I just wanted to share what he has some experience into the police. You just tell the public manner. His background, educational background into security, like the police. Because I saw him in the military, and compared to the police, I really enjoy him. But at least you tell the public, since he's a guest right now, to tell his own background. I really enjoy him at the time when he was serving as a chief with the police. At the military.
What was your name again?
My name is Elijah D.
Elijah B. Thank you. Before the director takes, I don't know when you came on, Elijah, but he had mentioned his master's degree in law from criminal justice, and he worked for New Jersey Superior Court as investigator and a probation officer, and he typically grew up with the Liberian National Police. So he had explained that. I don't know if he cares to go over that, but director, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, I need not to repeat those very low qualifications we have, but I can tell the brother that the current position we serve, that we work towards all my life. I am a criminal justice practitioner, like the moderator just said. I grew up in the police force at the tender age of 18. This is not my first deputy director position. I had also served as Deputy Director of Police for CID, CIU, and Interpol Affairs. So just to answer your question directly, the police force has been my area of concentration since I was a little boy. And so I found myself helping with the reconstruction process as we are. And to serve as Deputy Director of Police is something that I thought was my meager way of contributing towards the President Reconstruction Program. So yes, indeed, I'm a police professional. Besides working here, I also teach at I teach a couple of criminal justice courses at the Zion University here. So no, the military, I'm not a military man. I'm not trained as a military man. I was just borrowed, to lack of a better word. I was requested by the Army I was requested by the internal government to help to start an army when in fact the internal government started. All of the members of the AFL had gone to the very warring faction, and the internal government wanted to augment the new army. After the April 6 crisis, the ECOWAS needed to reconfigure an army so that a reconstruction process, restructuring process can begin. And I was requested. Why? Because they felt I participated in the peace process. I've gone all around the world in such a peace. I spoke to some of the facilitators, Jerry Rollins, Koto Chikata, Abbas Chimba, and the rest of the guys who were involved in it. I had the opportunity to also speak to President Soglo at one point in time. So in Benin, I was a little familiar because they all knew that I was a young man. That I was always in all of most of the delegation with Louis Brown, who actually was a chairman for Mr. Taylor at the time, Louis Brown and the late faculty and the rest of the guys. So we're all familiar, young guys from the university trying to help with the peace process. So at the end of the day, when there was a need for a new guy to actually head the army, they look at my own resume. I was born in Nima County. I grew up with most of the junior forces and some of the special forces of the NPFL. I went to school with them, and I'm a Madingo. I have relatives and relations in the Yulumo organization, and I took refuge in the barracks and took refuge among the Crown Fellows, and I also went to the Zodi Motalaka High School, Grand Judea County, where I did most of my vacation in Grand Judea. So I was familiar with the Crowns, familiar with the Gio and Manon, and familiar with the Madingo. And the ECOWAS arrangement thought I was a good fit to actually start a new army that will reflect some representation. I could serve as a fulcrum upon which the new army should be built upon. And I was the only mandate I was given, since in fact I wasn't a career military man. I was asked to start the restructuring process, so that the basis that will be laid will be the basis upon which the new army will be built upon. And the skeleton and the structure and the framework was basically what we left, and basically that was what it was. And at the end of the day, when I was in Nigeria attending the Chief of Staff conference, the speech I made, and that's the speech I live with. I said I could continue being the Chief of Staff if at all the election, 1997 election, was going to be based on an army that will reflect geographical balance. I needed the army to be restructured to reflect geographical balance, and so that we can basically have the election. But that did not happen. I did not see any reconstruction process. I resigned from the AFL, from the Chief of Staff position publicly. I wanted to be public. I called the BBC, the VOA, and all the international press out here. I did that purposely because I was not satisfied with the appeasement that was made during that process. And I resigned, and I headed for the United States for further studies. So I am not a career military man. I was only there for a year, but I spent all my life in the Liberian National Police, and I consider myself a police professional. The fact now I have gotten the academic and the little experience I've had from 1985 up to now, I now consider myself a law enforcement professional of the Liberian National Police.
Thank you. Folks, once again, if you're just joining us, we said thank you and welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show. Special edition because the show is being hosted at a much earlier time today than our regular 8 p.m. Programming time. We have with us today Honorable Amy Kromah, Deputy Director of the Liberian National Police. He's discussing criminal justice in Liberia, security, and anything is possible. So we'll take the next caller here, 9321, 9321. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Director Kromah. 9321. Hello? 9321. Hello? 9321. Alright, obviously he's not ready. So then we'll take 5192, 5192. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Director Kromah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Mohammed Dole, calling from Minnesota. Mr. Director, thank you so much. But I want you to explain to us, because just recently I was in Liberia, especially the April 12th situation. How do you handle that, and what were some of the difficulties that you faced with the Liberian citizen? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dole.
This was an unfortunate situation. My advice for the April 12th crisis, prior to my appointment, was to advise the stakeholders that we needed some other review, we needed some other tactical approach towards it. But what I was told and what I saw, the April 6th crisis started when there was a murder allegation against one of Mr. Johnson's kinsmen, one of Mr. Johnson's, I think, bodyguards or somebody, and they wanted to arrest him.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Dr. Kromah?
Sure.
I think the guest was talking about the recent April 12th, quote unquote, potential, riot that was supposed to happen.
Okay. Now I thought you were taking me to memory lane. Thought I was going back to memory lane. But no, the April 12th crisis, you see, because I know it wasn't a crisis. That's why it took me back to the original April situation. Because what happened in April 12th, all of the hubs that were built around the April 12th so-called demonstration was something that I felt people had legitimate reason to express themselves. I thought they should have the opportunity to do it. And all I advised them, I think I appeared on one of the diaspora show, I told them, you have to do it in the confines of the law. You cannot say you want to demonstrate, you want to express yourself, and then become hooligans and become destructive to go after people's property. The intelligence we started to gather, after we made those kind of public statements, the intelligence we started to gather was that people did not have the requisite organization to actually carry on a civil approach towards their problem. You can go and dissent, you can go and express yourself, that you can express your own dissent from government's view, and you have the right to do that. Our Constitution provides for that. But to say, now the intelligence we started to gather was that people were going to the very ghettos, were telling the guys in the ghettos, so look, this area will be yours, and whatever you do here is yours. You take care of it, take care of it. That's the intelligence we gathered. We felt that was counterproductive to any civil disagreement you have. So as a result, we started to warn people against those kind of acts. And at the end of the day, we basically took some other action towards addressing what we thought were going to be in the best interest of society. And when we did that prior to April 12th, April 13th, there was no more threat. As far as I was concerned, the remnants of people who wanted to march could have marched, and nothing was going to happen because we've done our homework. We did very good preparation in getting the public safe and providing some legitimate stuff to the public. So as a result, whatever we provided to them, they have that. Whatever information we have, we provided it to them, and people took that seriously. But to see that April 12th, for me, that's why I said it wasn't a crisis, because people give it definition for their own political for their own political accomplishment. But I'm a policeman. I'm not a politician. So I treat it as a security problem. And when the intelligence was warned, when intelligence was provided that this was not going to be a civil arrangement, or going to be hooligans getting on the street and to carry on destruction, we took action to protect that. We still left room open for people who wanted to express themselves as far as our constitution is concerned. People have the right to do that. They have the right to disagree with government. The only thing I advise you to do it in the confines of the law. You can carry on civil disobedience. If you want to do things like that, you can do it. Make sure you abide the law. You don't stop people. You ask for permit. Permit is provided to you. After permit is provided, you go ahead and march, because in the permit you'll be told when you're starting, where you're starting, and where you're ending, so that we can not only not to even monitor you, but to provide protection for the marcher. To also provide protection for those that are not participating in the march. And those are the kind of questions we're asking them. Those are the requests that were made of the organizer. Gallo, we agree you can march, you have right. This is your constitution. This is the right, God-given right as far as the constitution is concerned. But do not do it in the confines of our laws. Our laws say, even in Minnesota, even in Newark, New Jersey, when you want to march, you ask the city hall, you ask permission from the city hall so they can provide the link for you. They can provide police protection so that the police are supposed to go on overtime. They know they can appropriate for it, because you need to be protected from people who are not participating. People who are not participating in your march have to be protected. Their right to move freely has to also be protected under the Constitution. And those are the kind of things that you find embedded in this arrangement. And my understanding is that some of the folks are not prepared to adhere to that. Some of the folks are prepared to adhere to it and decided to do the opposite.
Okay. Thank you. We'll keep going here. Folks, *61 is what you need to dial. We have the privilege of hosting the Deputy Director of the Liberian National Police for Operation, Honorable Kromah, Ibrahim Kromah. So that's *61. If you have any question, comment, or concern. Let's see if 9321, 9321. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Director Kromah. 9321.
Aliyah Donzo, calling from Maryland.
Welcome, Mr. Donzo. Your question for the Director.
Hey, hi, Director.
Hey, Aliyah, what's up? We miss you out here.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Oh, I have a comment, and maybe a question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
My comment has to do with the security of the country as it relates to crime in the country. I know for sure that the police force in Liberia is doing very well with limited resources to do or to accomplish a constitutional role. At the same time, I think the police should not only be concerned with reducing the crime rate, because if you fight the crime and forget about the reasons or the causes of the crime, I'm afraid those that you're trying to fight to forget about committing crime, they will most likely recidivate. And recidivism in criminal justice is one thing that actually causes the system more money. It's like doing one thing over and over again without a good result. So from my point of view, I think it should be the role of the police, as we see it here in Washington, D.C., for the police to work with the community and the policy maker. In the D.C. area, we call it the city council. The police chief here, she goes out to the council members and says, look, we are fighting a crime, but we can't keep fighting the same people. All you have to do, we have to create a situation where we can provide an opportunity that will stop them from doing what they do, because they don't find pleasure in doing what they do, but it's like the situation forces them to do what they do. So we need to create opportunity for them to take away from the crime, not to fight the crime out of them. So we cannot fight the crime out of them. We should take them away from the crime, and the best way to do is to provide opportunity. And now that Liberia, unemployment rate is very, very high, so I'm not sure what the police is doing to advise the policymaker to do. With the leadership that we have at the Liberian National Police right now, I'm impressed with their qualification and their experience. I mean, I know they mean well for Liberia. So, Mr. Director, I mean, that's what I said. I'm not sure if mine was a question, but I think it is a comment.
It's a comment, yeah. So it's a wanted comment.
Exactly. So I would recommend that you should not only focus on fighting a crime, but talk to the policymakers so that they will know that they even have a greater stake in fighting crime than the police. Because
thank you. We'll leave it there. Well, you gotta wrap up. We got too many people on the line, Mr. Donzo.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Donzo,
go ahead.
Your point is well taken. Recidivism, like you said, is a very big menace as far as criminal justice, as far as law enforcement is concerned in general. But yeah, with regards to the policymakers, the director has made some inquiries. We have had a chance to meet with the Senate committee, the House Committee on National Security. I'm actually planning to meet with them tomorrow to talk about whatever they can do to change the dialogue. That's something that they've given us their fullest cooperation with regards to how they can address these things, how they can address the issue of crime. What are some of the plans that they have? We're now working together. This time around, we're working to achieving these things together. As a result, and I think the next budget year, the next budget discussion will be a good one because now they now realize that it's support from government that has to be forthcoming so as to have a free society. Because now it is also now thinking that the government, when you say government, is not only the executive, it's the legislative and the judicial plus the executive. All of the three branches make up the government. So now we're appreciating that level of understanding, and they've all now involved in finding solution to what we see in addressing crime problem at this point. So your point is well taken, Mr. Donzo, and I think that's something that we're also very happy about.
Okay, thank you. 6966, 6966. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Director Kromah. 6966.
Yeah, it's me, Sekou. My name is Sekou Kesley. I'm calling from New York City, and I want to ask the director about the recent increase in police brutality in Liberia, and as to what they are actually doing to address the issue of police brutality. Because I know, as a criminal justice expert myself, these are things that really hamper the development of a good relation between the police and the local community that they are trying to serve. So if the director could actually tell me what are some of the concrete steps that they are taking to address this issue.
Thank you.
All right.
Police brutality.
Yeah, good question. What we've done now, the issue of police brutality, like you mentioned, sometimes like the one that happened in Vatican, I know that was reported and you may have heard that. You call that police brutality. I call it differently. I'm not being defensive and I'm not trying to vouch for police misconduct. But if a police officer is being hacked, if mob action, if somebody want to carry mob action to kill a murder suspect, and because you demanded that that person be turned over to you, that person is then turned over to you, you take single barrel gun to point at the police, to shoot at the police, or you come to say you demand that the person is released, or not, you burn the police station down, and police defend themselves. I think that is something that we measure the use of force versus what was the threat that was applied to it. And that's basically, those are the investigations that we're doing with regards to the issue of the Vatican issue. But other issues where police officers will go carry on, even the Vatican issue, the fact that the police officer released a weapon, and that investigation goes on as well, because there has to be measurement. The force that you use has to commensurate with the threat that you receive. And those use of force investigation, that's what we've been doing. That's what we continue to do. And then I think now what we've done and what we are doing, we have one of the most robust and effective internal affairs, as we call it in the States, what we call it professional standard division. That particular division has been established and is working very, very well. And it has one of the best disciplinary rates that the police ever had in recent times. So we are going after people who abuse the power given them as far as the agreement between the police and the citizens is concerned. And those that will violate that trust will go after you. Those that will not professionally use the force that was allotted to them, we will punish you. We're punishing them on a regular basis. So no, we are taking steps that will serve as deterrent to those that will not follow the police code of ethics. That is something that I personally have interest in. And the director, the professional standard division has been the director on selection. And he makes sure the recommendation, any recommendation coming from the professional standard division has never been turned down by this director of police. So we're working towards improving those kind of issues, brother.
Director Kromah, let me make a quick follow-up on that. We're talking, since you're talking police brutality, how about the other way around? How about people who inflicting big injury, charging up towards law enforcement officers? What is your agency doing about that? I remember when I was in Liberia not that long ago, there was the issue of this young man whose ear was cut off.
Yeah, was cut off.
I met the guy. So what is the government? What is your department doing about issues like that?
Well, and if you ever see me walk in the courthouse, anytime you hear that I'm in the courthouse to making sure that any civilian who, without following the due, without following anything, will go and attack a police officer, I will be in the court to prosecute you. And I'm now tomorrow. I've asked Representative Masale to sponsor a bill, and all of us will run after it that will make it high degree felony for anybody touching the police officer, even turning the police officer. For anybody who's doing that, I want that person to have the maximum time in jail. That's the bill that I want to follow through right now. And equally so, the police officer abused. And it is proven that you abuse somebody's liberty, that person should be punished harshly. But basically, I'm going after people who will find no reason to actually follow any due process, will go and then attack the police officer. Like the guy you saw in my office that time, the guy, he had his cut off, and the man is left dead, and the guy who done that, he went to court. But the legal system basically allowed him the leverage to take bail and things like that. I want that to be non-bailable once you attack a police officer, and that's some of the lobby I'll be doing tomorrow at the national legislature as well.
Thank you. Next caller, 2212-2212. Your name, where you calling from? Your question for Director Kromah. Hello, 2212-2212-2212. Yeah.
Yeah, this
What's
is
your name? Where you calling from? Yeah.
This is Obi. I'm calling from the state of Tennessee.
Obi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I want to say salam alaikum to the deputy director. My question is.
Salam alaikum.
But I got some question here. Is it got something to do with the checkpoints of Liberia. The checkpoints that have been erected to harass peaceful citizens. I want to know, what are you doing about those checkpoints, and when it comes to harassment, especially the Mandingo people? What are you doing about those checkpoints?
Thank you.
All right. The reason I giggle a little bit when you said the reference of the premise of your question, what are you doing about the checkpoints that have been erected to harass people? I mean, no normal person, no normal responsible government would say, well, let you write checkpoint to harass people. And you don't forget that I'm also a Mandingo man. So I will not be at the head of any police operation where checkpoints erected to harass Mandingo people. Those are all statements, scare tactics that our people have put up, or some people have put up just to create, just for their own political advancement, just for their own political enrichment, just to show people that they can see and they can talk, to agitate at a level. So I think at the level where you found this government is a responsible government. I will, people might disagree. Some people who basically are sitting on the fence and everything, they will disagree with that. Fine, that's their own right. But I can tell you there has not been any checkpoint erected to harass anybody. From here to Nima County straight up, you probably will have 2 checkpoints. Two, because I just came from Ganta the other day. Salala has a checkpoint that has been established before I was born. It's there. All right. The checkpoint, Mount Barclay, when leaving Mount Barclay, it's not even a checkpoint. It's just the entry point to Monrovia. They want you, if you're coming late, you stay out until the time comes in the morning you come in. And it's for people who will be running like their hair cut off just to stop there. And then in the night, they do that in the nighttime. Once the night is over, that checkpoint is over. In the morning, it's out. And I monitor that as well. So you don't have any checkpoint going around. In the Bassa area, you have a checkpoint there to control the people, the robber thief. And people who go there to go steal, the people robber in Firestone. They have a checkpoint there that is manned by Firestone Security and some LNP and some other people there. Only Grove, they have a checkpoint there that is nationally established checkpoint with immigration people because of the exit point that they have there. Those are the kind of things the people talk about. Is checkpoint there to harass people. Those are all fallaciable and it never taking any heel. Those are garbage that has no dump side, to be honest with you. Because it infuriates me when people make this insinuation without any basis, without any factual evidence. They go to send these things out, and some guys are profiting from them. They've gotten their name recognition. They're doing these things. They've been recognized for agitating and for advocating and agitating nonsense that have no basis. And I think we should stop that.
Thank you. Hotel, next caller is 2424-2424. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Director Kromah. 2424.
Okay. Yes. Yes, sir, Mr. Kromah. My name is Musa Fufana from the Washington, D.C. area, and I want to say thank you for bringing our Deputy Director on today. I'm going to go straight to my question.
You're a former board chair, right?
Yeah, that's my boss.
You're a former controversial board chair. All right.
Yeah. All right. First of all, I would like to commend the director in this public forum for all of what he's doing down there. We are following his operations, and actually it's very, very much impressive, and we are proud of him. Now, having said that, my question to the honorable director is that, in recent times we have heard series of news or situations coming out of Liberia, but the most alarming of all is some group of people getting on the streets of Liberia saying that Liberia was founded on Christian principles, therefore Liberia should be returned to a Christian nation. And that situation was a highly alarming situation for some of us in the diaspora, considering the fact that Liberia is emerging from civil war and hearing, incidents that would make us to feel that there will be a recipe or a pathway to returning our country back into chaos is very, very much alarming. And most alarming of all is that we have some lawmakers publicly and boastfully endorsing such a destructive mentality in Liberia. That is very, 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 very serious and alarming to some of us in the diaspora. My question to the director is, being the law enforcement arm of the government of Liberia, and you as the head of that particular institution, the police, is there any preemptive strategy as to how to prevent these kinds of things coming out, in form of making awareness to the Liberian public so that they can we can prevent or avoid, spreading of these kinds of destructive mentality in the country. To save the police, from...
Thank you. Yeah. So the question is there a strategy to prevent that? Yeah. Is that a question?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. Bonan, nice hearing your... Yes, sir. Nice hearing your voice again, Mr. Bonan. And I tell you one thing. I'm not a politician. I'm a policeman. The issue of regards to the secularity and the monolithic approach towards religion in Liberia, I try to stay away from it because the issue that everybody has their constitutional right to voice out how they want the country to be, and it has to go through referendum. And they both practice. The one that want the secular arrangement, the ones that want Liberia to be a Christian state. All of those petitions have been passed to the national legislature, and then it's going to the only thing I advise the both group to do it in the confines of the law. If you're jumping on the street, don't disturb, don't impede the flow of traffic. Don't do things that will violate the free movement of everybody else. That was all my own plea to both of them. If you want to do it, you have the right to file a petition to your national legislature that is protected under the Constitution. But if you're doing it, do it in the confines of the law. And if you do it, I can't judge you. I can't judge any of them because I am a neutral advocator here. I'm enforcing the law and without favor in any way, shape, or form. I don't take my religion in any way, shape, or form to my job. I don't take my personal feeling to this job. This is the job that I was appointed by the president, confirmed by the Liberian people to do. So I have to be very open. My openness then allow me to look at the situation for what it is. It is a political situation, a political process that has to be done through the political means. That is, it has to go to the referendum, and it has to be presented first. Then when it's presented to the legislature, then it goes to the referendum. Whatever time that happens, it goes to the referendum and it passes to the law, and then it becomes the will and pleasure of the Liberian people. Like I said, my only role there as a policeman and the Liberian National Police role is to make sure to uphold the law and enforce the law to its letter without fear and favor to anybody else. I hope I satisfy your question, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. First, we are well over halfway back into the show, and so for those of you who haven't had a chance to ask questions yet, by all means, dial *61. But it is my intention to end the show at exactly 6 o'clock here, and so we are just, I believe, would that be 23 minutes from that, or 33 minutes. So if you haven't had a chance, we say please dial *61. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show, special edition of the Deputy Director of the Liberian National Police for Operation, Honorable A.B. Kromah, Ibrahim Kromah. So we'll take the next caller. That happens to be 1797-1797. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Director Kromah.
Yeah, my name is Abu Bakay Dukle, and I'm calling from Winnipeg, Canada.
Oh, calling from Canada. Welcome to the show, Mr. Dukle.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and thank you very much, Honorable Kromah, for taking your time to be with us this evening. My question to you is this. We know very shortly there is going to be a significant drawdown by the United Nations, and taking the police force into consideration, like anything else in Liberia, there is a huge capacity problem. How would you characterize the ability of your force in meeting the task ahead as the United Nations draws down, taking into account the challenges you have with manpower, capacity, as well as logistics? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't know, Mr. Dukle, I don't know if you just came on the show or not, but the director had addressed that question earlier. But Dr. Kromah, do you care to run over that quickly? Or?
So, Well, the issue of capacity and logistics has been one of the biggest problems we've had in this transition process. We've not included a lot of the logistical thing in our budget that has been addressed right now, and we also have partners, donor partners that basically will be helping with some of those logistical needs as well. With regards to capacity, instead of graduating in one class, now we're graduating 2 classes per year. We have plans now to even graduate 3 classes. So we will be addressing the capacity issue, and we are addressing the capacity issue at that level. We also now have training program at the hubs. As you know, we have five regional hubs that will be built. One is already ready, running in Banga. We've now started another training process there, and we have now one is being done is in Harper, Maryland. Another training program will be there just to address all of the leeward needs and leeward problem, addressing the capacity building from the leeward counties. And then coming to Monrovia, instead of 1, we have 2, if possible 3 classes, because we have to achieve the manpower needs up to 8,000, because we are far below that at this point. So, no, we are attacking all of the issues, all of the problems that will bring about that problem with regards to the transition is being addressed both through our budgetary allotment and through a system that we receive, and then also through the rural training program that we have earmarked. Because the president is very serious and is very concerned as to achieving these particular goals as we go towards the army drawdown and the transition towards the liberalization arrangement.
Thank you. And our next caller then will be 0488. 0488. I know you've been waiting for a long time. Thank you for doing so. Your name, where you calling from, your question for Director Kromah.
Ablai Douglas.
Welcome, Mr. Douglas. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Colombo, Ohio.
Colombo, Ohio. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Yeah, how are you, Honorable Kromah?
How you doing, sir?
Okay. I had 2 questions, but I'll reduce it to 1 because of time factor. So.
Thank you.
Well, some Liberians regard the Liberian National Police as toothless bull due to the presence of foreign forces in Liberia right now. And
say that again. No, say that again. Well, why has happened now?
I say some people regard the Liberian National Police as a toothless bull due to the presence of the foreign forces in the country right now. So, looking at that, there are certain groups in Liberia that have been constantly targeted, provoked, and attacked without proper security intervention and resolution. So, my question is, how can you assure this group of people that are being continuously targeted and attacked that they will be protected in the absence of foreign security?
Thank you.
I don't know, Mr. Moderator, how many times we address the fear, and it is a legitimate fear that people have expressed. But I can tell the folks, the brothers there, that that is strange that people have been attacked and running. And Liberian National Police is not a toothless bulldog. We have the ERU. ERU is not toothless. We have ERU. We have the PSU as well that are also armed. So we think that statement is far-fetched. People will not come and then victim vote and go with impunity. You can rest assured we've been tested, and we have the scars to prove that you don't come in not on my watch. Trust me. You don't come in and victimize and go scot-free. You can ask the avoidant missionary to tell you that. You can ask other guys who thought that they can do these things with impunity. You can ask them to tell you that we are not strange to addressing belligerent forces. and most folks in Liberia can attest to that. People in the West African suburbs can attest. So I don't see that story being that, you marched here with 150 men. We took them to the southeast. And we arrested guys who committed mayhem in other countries and brought them to book. They are now facing trial here. So that's the kind of police force we're talking about. And people who carry on these outlandish, unsubstantiated comment, I think they're doing it for their own selfish enrichment. And I think people should now start looking at facts and start asking questions and start investigating. I'm not vouching. I'm not telling you that the police force is the best, because we're not the best, because we've not reached the potential here, because we're just coming from a civil arrangement. And this government has just is going through a process of restructuring. And so, no, we can't boast of being perfect, but we have taken some stringent measure that has provided the protection for people to come and invest here, for people to live here freely, for people to move about freely. That has been provided. That has been the goal of this government. And some of us are committed to that because we respect the leadership of this government. And so we found ourselves here. So to say you have somebody come here to come and victimize people and go infinity, that is a fallacy. Not on my watch and not on the watch of the guy who leads all of us. So I disagree with you.
Are there people who have been repeatedly victimized, though, that I think that was the second part of his question, that how can you assure a particular group of people who have been victimized continuously, this without appropriate security intervention? Is there any truth to the allegation? Or?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll take the next call. Never mind.
Well, I'm just telling you that there has. I think the brother's gone, but I don't think there's anybody that I want to know those people who have been constantly repeatedly victimized. I'm looking for those people who will come in. People come, and those are the kind of comment. Those are the kind of fear that people come to say. Because if you say these things, people have been victimized. The Liberian National Police, the Tutla Bull. Well, I think you are making a serious mistake. If that is the assumption somebody provided to the person who called, Mr. Google, I think you need to check that person's factual evidence. You need to look at that person here, because you will come here. Let her ask the guys. Let her ask the armed robbers. Go and ask the guys that we have in the jail. The amount of armed robbers that we've locked up now, that are sitting there and are victimizing our people here, and repeatedly they carry on one or two armed robbers, they carry on, and we arrested them. And now they're behind bars. Some of them going to jail for 15 years. We've arrested our own police officer who for some reason participated in this process. He's behind bar for 15 years, some 15, some 10 years. So no, that's not the police force you have today. What you had before is not what you have now. We're not the best. We've not reached our best potential yet, but we are an emerging police force with a focus, with targets, so making sure that the citizen and our fellow residents live peacefully, and to making sure that they have access to justice without any delay, so that we can have a country that will be living with the rule of law. And that's the kind of country that Liberia is progressively going towards.
Thank you. Our next caller, 5481, 5481. Your name, where you calling from, your question for the director.
Yeah, my name is Farouk O'Connor from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, we can barely hear you. Can you adjust your phone a little bit, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Farouk O'Connor.
Okay.
I'm calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, much better. A little better, yeah. Welcome to the show. Dr. Kromah, can you hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, yeah. Go ahead. So go ahead with your question then.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say hi to my brother, 102, for being on this show tonight. My question is that, I have just come from Liberia, and I've been there twice, within 6 months time. And one of the things that shocked me was the traffic condition. When I say the traffic condition is when you are in certain part of Monrovia, you are not even safe to walk on a sidewalk. So the cars are coming from all opposite directions. They will leave the main street and at the pedestrian road. I mean, you will just be surprised with car coming. You're not even expecting a car would drive there. So, and this is very risky. So my question right now, what are the police doing to reduce some of those risks and also to educate our people that to follow the traffic law, because the sidewalk is not meant for the sidewalk is not a freeway for motorcyclists to be driving there, wherever the pedestrians are not even expecting cars to be coming on that direction. And this is very risky. I've understood people are being killed because of this. So for me, it's a serious concern. So I just want to know what the police, doing about that.
Thank you. Traffic congestion.
Well, Well, first, let me look at the traffic congestion. I just came from Abidjan. I just attended a conference on human trafficking in that beautiful city of Abidjan last night. I reached back home. I saw the traffic between the rush hour there. I saw exactly what happened. I was shocked with the road network that Abidjan has to see the level of traffic. We started from the Ministry of Interior, from the airport to Hotel d'Ivoire. It took us pretty close to 2 hours and 45 minutes. And that was a stretch of a distance. So, and I said to myself, what? With all the rules and the traffic light and everything, it is like this here? So the issue of traffic is not lack of management and lack of direction. It is what it is. There are more cars coming to Africa today, all kinds of cars coming to our countries. Everybody has the leverage to buy cars. But with cars coming on the opposite lane, Farouk knows. I was with him at one point in time. He ran with me when I took stand to correct the guys that are using the sidewalk, not people coming opposite direction, but people that are using extra lane to themselves. He was there when I arrested a lot of those guys. I gave them ticket. I exercised some penalty for them, some deterrence, and he knows, he saw it exactly what step was taken. But Farouk, just for your information, since you left from here, that situation, the issue of not even opposite car coming to you, or some cars using other lane to extend their own lane, that has been stopped. We have people marching out on the various streets. We have police officers now giving tickets. We had 3 lanes that we had on the boulevard that has been cut off. So we're doing our best on a very difficult situation. But when I saw Abidjan the other day, considering the leverage, considering what they have, I was shocked to know that there is indeed, based upon my own thesis statement, that policing is universal, and the conditions that bring about policing also are universal when it comes to the African setting, West Africa for that matter. We now have cars floating here that shouldn't have been here anyway. So no, we're addressing your concern, Mr. Conan, but we are at a standstill like other African countries.
Thank you.
Regards to traffic.
Thank you. Folks, once again, I want to say welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum weekly talk show. And be reminded that after this show, you can access a repeat broadcast of tonight's show by dialing 559-726-1299 and dial the same access code that you used to come on the show. That way, give you access to the repeat broadcast of tonight's show, at least up until we host our next guest next week, Sunday. And then after that, we will try to upload this show on YouTube, just like we've done with many of our previous shows, so that you can have access to it. I want to make that clear. And then the other thing is that it looks like our guest line has gone off again. Dr. Kromah. All right, I just saw his line dropped. This is the second time, but the show is almost over. The first time it happened, he came back very quickly, so I would imagine that he'll be here very shortly so that we can finish what we started. Do be reminded as well that we've got just 15 minutes left, unless, of course, he decides to add a little extra time since his line has gone off again. But I want to thank you for being here. There's so many of you here. It's been a great show so far. Keep your questions coming, *61. We will take them as soon as the director returns. So again, let's make this another break, so you don't sit down just thinking what's going on. So here's an announcement for you while we are with the guests.
Captain District, in the studio tonight to tell you people for where were you people in the district as a money inspector in the district. But I would let you people know tonight my father bereaved. My daddy passed away. So I informed a friend that will be able to accommodate me with any work that will be coming to me, or to be able to call this number to sympathize with the people them, with the family them. So that is why I in the studio tonight for to tell the friend that I'm bereaved. I will be leaving to go in Spain. That there was the death occurred, so I will be leaving to go in Spain. They feel time, but Jesus had a get a time. I can't tell. Jesus got a rightful time to tell. So I would like to inform you people tonight to come with me for us to be going. So I'm calling Anderson Grab in Tower Sam. He's my boss and also he's a friend of mine. I'm calling tonight in Tower Sam, wheresoever you are at. People who over here tonight, they are monitoring. They will be able to tell Anderson that job Vatican in bereaved. So you will be leaving to go. Maybe you have the chance to come to go along with me, you'll be fine. So I'm calling this number. Any friend that over here tonight to hear that I'm talking with this friend, them, they will be able to get that number down. That number is 51 is Mr. Vatican number is 06088 and 06 40 41 29. 08088 6 40 41 29. If that is number, you can take the number down. 088 6 40 41 29. You can come to RV number, yes. You will see 088 6 58 22 62. Then you come to George Vatican, my own number. You will come to him 088 06 466 31. That's the number you will be able to call to come back to me with any word tonight. Maybe you will be able to.
Yeah, welcome back. Thank you.
Yeah, got off.
Folks, folks, I told you the director will be right back. So we just got a few minutes left, and then we'll go to closing remark mode. I'm sorry, some of you just calling in, but that's always the case. Maybe we will. Like I said, the repeat broadcast will be available on YouTube, just like many of our previous shows. Very shortly here. I'll try to put on YouTube, just like many of the other shows. If you're just joining us, we are just in the finishing mode. Still have few time to dial *61, but I do ask that you keep your questions very brief. The director has been overly generous to us, considering where he's calling from. So we'll take just a few questions in the queue. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to everyone, but we'll take few and then we'll call it a night. So welcome back, director. We'll take 1963, 1963. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for the director. 1963, 1963. 1963.
Hello?
Hello?
What's wrong? Yeah. What's up, man? Go.
Okay, all right. Obviously, he's not attentive. We'll take 6105. 6105. Your name, where you calling from, and your question. 6105. Your name, where you calling from, and your question, sir.
My name is Anthony Aram Zaize. I'm calling from Brooklyn Park in Minnesota. Thank you. Let me just begin by giving you a thank for your program and also to your guest, Mr. Kromah, for the work he's doing in Liberia. I will make just brief. Yeah, I will just make brief statement and then to my question. I know you got a huge position, Mr. Kromah. Looking at where we're coming from, what I mean, you're going to be dealing with a lot of crime in our school, which of course you've been dealing with. But I'm concerned about documentation. In other words, if you are actually profiling, in other words, how many arrests made, where they come from, what tribes, what nationality, and the kind of group they belong to. Okay, now, my question is this. I know we don't have the time. My question is this. I know arrests sometimes is based on probable cause. In fact, most arrests are based on probable cause. And we know in Africa sometimes it's different. It has to do with people with money, people with power. But the question is this. We have heard, let me just make this quick statement. We have heard a lot of statements coming from Liberia, like representatives sometimes do order security or other people to beat innocent citizens, sometimes based on view. Have you come in contact with such things? And you being the deputy director, with all the power, with what you know in criminal justice, that the probable cause did exist, that in the United States we call it an assault. An assault actually is felony. It's a number one. It's among the number one crime. If you do that, you may end up having the felony charge. Have you ever come across such a situation in Liberia where representatives or senators commanded other people to beat innocent citizens? And if you ever came across such a thing, what did he do about it? Let's say if the thing was reported to you, what did he do about it? And if you have not come across such a thing, and it happened, what do you think you can do? Will you enforce the same thing that you do on other people, like people that commit crime against others, by ways of assault? I hope my question is clear. If it is not, let me just make it. Yeah, let me just make it clear. Have you ever come across?
I got it.
Okay, he got the question, Mr. Zizi. So it's well understood. Yeah, go ahead, Director. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, no, since I took over, we've not had any case where the senator will say or representative or some other person. Let me just make the correction for every arrest should be based on probable cause. That is the first rule. And then when the probable cause is there, then you must have prima facie to be able to get a person to court, and that's the prima facie you use to prosecute the man in court. So yes, there has to be probable cause before the police officer arrests. And once the probable cause is there, you sure must have prima facie to be presented to court. So anybody who is not a police officer, the issue of citizen arrest was sometime the topic of time here. Citizen arrest meaning citizen will call the police in so as to get somebody who is running from justice, who's a fugitive. That's the whole concept of these things. And once it's there, the police officer must establish probable cause, must have probable cause before they can restrict somebody's movement. So somebody's liberty to be restricted based upon just hearsay evidence or evidence that cannot stand in court or cannot have any prima facie statute, that for me is false arrest, and that person should file for damages. Because once you arrest somebody, you're depriving them of their right of their civil liberty. And once you do that to somebody, that liberty is God given. I mean, you can't seize it based upon just gossip. So no, we've not had an opportunity to have any representative or any senator, at least since we took over. Maybe it might have happened in prior administration, but since we took over, that has not been the case. And you can rest assured that that's not going to be the case. I'm not going to restrict any citizen's movement or any citizen right because some senator says so. No. If the senator has a problem, they'll file to the police. Police investigate, and if there is a probable cause for arrest, or there is a legitimate case in it, that person will be arrested. Or the citizen or the senator can decide to file a lawsuit, go to court, and then they'll be issued writ. And a writ of arrest will be provided, and the person will be arrested. That's the due process. That's what it is. That's what you have. In the absence of that, then you have mob justice. Mob justice is not acceptable. It has its own setbacks in any democratic government, and I'm not going to be party to that. Basically, that's where we are.
Okay. Thank you. I promise you, Honorable Director, we'll get you out of here very soon. Before I take the next caller, though, you've said a lot of great things that are happening in the Liberian National Police. But we know that police is one of the three major components of the criminal justice system, meaning police, courts, and then corrections. With all the good things happening at the police, at least according to you, how are the other components of the justice system operating? I know that nothing can be more frustrating to a street cop than arresting and rearresting. You arrest somebody today, and then tomorrow here's the same person walking free because the court, so it's not been prosecuted, not tried, or maybe corrections of. So how are the other components of the criminal justice system working? And I'm directing this question to you now as a Deputy Director of Police, but also as a criminal justice professor. So how do you view the overall criminal justice system today in Liberia?
Well, the system is going through transition. It is working on tonight right now. It's being reconfigured to a larger extent. The correction system, I can tell you, is not as effective as I want it to be because there's no rehabilitation component that I see that should reflect to address the issue of recidivism. Because once the man is arrested by the police that will introduce the man in the justice system, and it goes to court, he's processed in the courthouse, and if he's found guilty, he's sent to the correction. Correction that depicts his name is for the man to be corrected, to be made whole, to go through some rehabilitation so as to not make him do or not make him repeat what he did before he went to jail. If the man goes in prison and then he comes out without any rehabilitation, he goes back to the same act of criminality that took him there, and he has his own burden on the comfort of the country, and he has his own burden on the part of police officers as well, and then he also has his own felon citizen. Because what happens when the man is arrested, he goes to court. He's arrested by the police. The police present him in court with the evidence of that, and if he goes and if he's guilty, he goes to jail. And then he comes out, they take bond for him, or he goes to court, and then he serves his term, he's back on the street. And people will have their own definition as to what it is. Or if he goes to court, and whatever the lapses that you also have in the court system, if that become apparent, the man is released back to the society without even going through some construction. And I think I've always asked people to participate in the process. When a man is arrested, if somebody sees from you the man is arrested, follow up in court. Get the lawyer to go there and make sure the man is found, the man is sent to jail. And if he's sent to jail, it is government responsibility to rehabilitate him so that they can make you whole and make him whole. So he comes back as a changed person. But if that is not done, the man comes back out, he goes back to the same life of criminality. It places burden on the police, it places burden on citizen perception of the justice system. all of those are all elements of mob justice. Those things are all conditions for mob justice. People would think that the man is just something that the police not doing anything about. And another reason why people find themselves getting out of hand is that the man goes to court, and the court system, for what I see, the court system is going through some redress right now. They are working towards strengthening it. They've taken some corrupt judges out, and so the system is being strengthened. I wouldn't have much criticism. I can do the criticism in the classroom. I wouldn't want to do that in a forum like this. We can critique the system with students. When I put my professor hat on, or my lecturer hat on, I can now dissect some of the issues and ills in the justice system. I can tell you the police is not as perfect as it should be as well, and the court is not as perfect as it should be. And the correction system, I can tell you, has not reached the maximum that I would like to see it. But again, it has just how it has the effect and the deficit it had in Liberia. It also has some reflection in other part of the world. And so, but our is rudimentary. Some of the problem we have rudimentary that has to go through a series of changes to be able to have international standards. That I can tell you. But we are working towards it. The state is working towards it. And I can show you we'll get there very shortly.
Thank you. 6377, your name, where you calling from, your question.
My name is Amara Kita. I'm calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Mr. Kafuma. Thank you, Mr. Kafuma, for taking my call. Thank you, Dr. Kromah, for responding to our invitation. My concern has to do with hate speech. I know some people use the power of the internet to incite violence. What mechanism has the Liberian National Police got to make sure that people who make these hate speeches are brought to book, especially when they are within the confines of Liberia? Two, you mentioned about ticketing, that people who violate traffic rules and other rules are given tickets. And we know in the past, Liberia, drivers, especially who mostly are the ones that violate traffic rules, negotiate with the police officers. And now I think in the process of rebuilding new Liberian police force, I think these are things that we want to do away with. What mechanism have you, as the operation director, put in place to make sure that police don't negotiate with drivers on the issue of ticket? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Keita.
You're saying that, yes, the issue of negotiating with ticket, for me, you're saying that, so to say, it is something that is acceptable and it's something that you see that happen. Well, I frown on any misbehavior of police officer at all level. Whether be a ticket person, any corruption on the part of police officer is unacceptable at all. And we have set up stringent measures. If you are caught on corruption at any level, you are sent to jail. Like I said, we have officers down in jail, police misconduct. They're there. And some there for 15, 10 years. Not some are putting ticket officers in jail for 10 years, but there are measures that will fit the crime when they are caught. And you can rest assured that nobody goes free of the weight of the director of police, who in fact has established a professional standard unit that basically has reinforced the professional standard unit that is currently addressing every police misconduct. So yes, we will address it and we'll deal with them as they come.
Okay. How about the internet? His first question, people, his speech and
people what?
Hello. His first question. I think people making his speech on the internet, talking of Well, Mr. Keita, if you care to come back quickly to restate your first question, that would be great. But until then, I have just 3 more questions I'm taking unless Mr. Keita comes back, and these last 3 who've been up here so long, take these.
People are using internet to spread.
Director will let Mr. Keita make another entry so he can clarify that. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't quite get that, so we'll let him make another entry. Mr. Keita, if he's still listening, please dial *61 and clarify your first question. Thank you. We'll take these 3 follow-up callers, and then that will be it, unless Mr. Keita comes back. But to the rest of you, as always, we can't take everybody on one show. So let's start with Mr. Keita from Rochester, follow-up caller. Mr. Keita, welcome back to the show.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kromah. I think we'll be here for long. Dr. Kromah.
You need to get me out of here. Keep it brief, yeah.
Okay, brief. First of all, the first one, what's the problem between here, Mickey Gray, a former director of traffic police who wanted to attack in his office? When we heard about that, we felt so bad. The police salary is still $150. Are they still taking bribe in the street for the taxi drivers? They making living out of that? Or have you done anything possible in the Liberian National Police that stop the bribing of the police and the driver? What is the right now of the drivers to drive in Monrovia without any driver lessons? Because we have a lesson plate issue too. So when the private here, Mickey Gray, because we heard that Mickey Gray wanted to beat him in his office. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
I don't know what I want to. I don't know what I want to give that comment any weight, but I'll try because people make these statements without substantiation. Mickey Gray, I don't know whether you know how tall I am or how big I am. Mickey Gray is a small guy to my size. So if Mickey Gray will not have the physical ability to beat me, and he does not have the professional authority to do that. Mickey Gray is about 6 steps below me as Deputy Director of Police. So there's no way. I didn't fight anybody in high school. I didn't fight anybody in college. I didn't fight anybody in my adult life. There's no way that I go to a professional organization where I serve as the man responsible for operation. Then I will go fight one of my undermen that I have about 6 persons to discipline him if I want to. So that was another fallacy, another false interpretation. There was nothing between Mickey Gray and myself besides professional misconduct that was corrected by the Director of Police and the Police Professional Standard Division. And so that's what it was. So all that comment about you and Mickey Gray fighting, that was just a made-up thing to create some moral equivalent about the authority that we have. And again, we did not buy it. We treated it as the nonsense it was, and I still treat it as the nonsense it is, because I have legitimate reason to believe that people wanted to just create some power struggle within our own midst, and that was not going to happen by the Director of Police, under the Director of Police watch. And again, regarding corruption, police, nobody is actually accepting the thing that police accepting. If you accept money, corruption is everywhere. If you are caught accepting bribe as a police officer, you're fired or you go to jail. That is plain and simple. So there might be people who might do it, but if you're caught, you're punished drastically. That I can tell you straight up without even missing the word for it. Okay? I don't know whether it has to stay happening. If you see it, we've told everybody. If you see police corruption, somebody receiving bribe, let us know about it. But people will not let police authority know it happened, and it becomes people keep it silent. And I've told people, you the police officer, you the private citizen there, don't give bribe. And refuse to give bribe, because on our laws, those that provide the bribe is as guilty as the person who's receiving it. So if you're doing it, if you're talking about it, sir, that means you are aiding and abetting. Because as a citizen, law-abiding citizen, you should not allow these things to happen. But if you're allowing this thing to happen, we can charge you for a sorcerer before and even a sorcerer after. Because you'll be aiding and abetting the commission of a crime that you are guilty of in any way. Because you provided bribe, you gave bribe, and that's crime. I don't know how simple that can be told. I mean, that's the best way I can say.
Police officers still making $150 a month. That was the other part he asked. Officers still being paid $150 a month.
They're not making $150. They're making, basically, we just added $25. Police officers making maybe about $169.
Okay.
That's what we have. That's the standard of living we have, and that's basically what we're working towards.
Okay. That was Mr.
We're working towards, because the massacre has promised that doing everything we can to provide room for increment into the salary of the police officer.
Okay. That was from Keita, and then here's the other Keita who asked the question earlier, so he came back to clarify his first question. Mr. Keita, welcome back to the show.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kafumba, for giving me the time to ask my question further. My question has to do with hate speech. I know here in America, if you went on the internet and issued certain threatening statement against a specific group or individual, I know the police have the mechanism to make sure that such people are apprehended. So in the situation, in the case of Liberia, my question was, because we observed that during the recent time, especially during the recruitment process, people went on the internet and made certain hate speeches against a specific group who wanted to be just peacefully enlisted into the army and other areas of government, and people were making threatening statements. My question was, is there any mechanism or is there any process that the police has to make sure that these people, because all of these things threaten the peace and security that we are all yearning for. So is there any mechanism by the police to make sure that these people, anyone or a group of people who make speech like this, can be brought to book, especially when it is done within the confines of Liberia? Thank you.
Thank you. So, Dr. Kromah, did you get a question this time?
Yeah, actually, before the question, my phone was breaking. I didn't get the.
I think the question pretty much has to do with people making hate speech in cyberspace. People like, let's say, Liberians in the diaspora or in Liberia. It doesn't matter where they are making hate speech on the internet. Does the Liberian National Police, has any tools, strategy of tracking down and apprehending such people?
The word hate speech and all of these things, when you start to coin that, then you're talking about infringement, then you're going to different places now. I would not encourage anybody to go after. People can go and sit down and say, the only thing, don't go yelling in a crowded cinema and say that's fire. Then I'll arrest you. But you can sit down and yell. That's the essence, that's the beauty of our democracy. People can sit down and say anything they want to say. They can go in and create their own viewpoints, and then work towards and start to do things to achieve that. That's fine. That's freedom of expression. That helps to build the democratic preset that we have. I don't think that is something that we can start to punish. Then you start to punish dissent. I wouldn't want to encourage the government to do that, because we'll be building something very differently. But if anybody now, if you want to accuse a public figure, you should be able to defend it. You should have to prove it, rather. And you can't say personally this man is a murderer when you cannot prove it. Another guy the other day, another confused guy in town said at one point in time that I was frontline commander in Cape Mount or somewhere while I was still going to LU anyway. And another guy said I was chief of staff of Ulimo. He can't prove it. I challenge him to prove it. He cannot. Those are all stupid comments that people make. When you start to hold them to it, they start running, oh, man, the man just joking. Those are personal things. You don't say that when you fight, you can't prove it. But to say the man is, make general statements. Those are things that we should maybe allow people to just make fool of themselves, because there are a lot of guys making fool of themselves nowadays. And that's something we should be accepting, we should be expecting. But to make outlandish and unsubstantiated argument, discussion, you should be able to prove it. Generally, the other day I was making a statement about my chief of intelligence. He was on one of the show. I saw him. I saw what he wrote regarding a comment that was made by Gray. I have not seen Gray for more than 10 years already. All the time in America, and I never saw the man. But he made comment about the police operation and who are responsible for reduction of crime, mostly the campaign issue. This was his own opinion he made. But this guy, one of my, I don't know whether it's him, because PR can be that naive. But he made this comment about, why are you trying to do? You're trying to promote your boy to be director of police and things like that. I thought that was a foolish comment, and I thought that didn't hold any ground in our own mature environment, because I am very content being deputy director of police for operation. Chris Massacre is the guy that called the shot as far as police matter operation is concerned. When we have suggestions, we provide Chris Massacre, he approved them, and we carry on. If he doesn't approve it, he doesn't go on. So everything that happened in operation is credited to Chris Massacre. I don't know whether the person who representing PR will be so naive not to understand that. Naivety cannot be that in-depth in the person's stacking, and that's the kind of police we run. So for people to make such a comment, he has his own setback for intellectual discourse, and I think that should not be accepted. Chris Massacre is the director of police. David Kromah is the deputy director of police for operation, and that is a position that I'm content with. That's a position I was appointed to, and Chris Massacre is the guy that all of us have to promote now, because he is the director of police. He is our boss. He cut the shot and will follow through. I don't like to take credit for a reduction of anything when I'm not the head. We do that because I've made this argument even when I was in school in the States. To say that this is one particular reason why crime is reduced, to be making fool of yourself. Because sooner or later something will happen, the crime will pick up, and then you start to scratch your head. Ask Giuliani, he will tell you. Ask most of the guys that have been in big cities. When they adopt certain strategy, that strategy works for certain time, and then you look, it doesn't work. People still want to find out how crime will reduce in New York City. People say the 100 cops that was added to New York force, to the police force at the time, was the reason. People dispute that. People say, well, Giuliani, no nonsense approach. People dispute that. People say the broken glass approach towards it, where you find broken houses anywhere.
Broken window theory.
Broken window theory, rather. Broken window theory. You find that happen. People basically, I call it broken glass because basically my constitution is on all those broken houses all around the place, and I have no window glass on there. And that's the way I wrap my mind around the broken window theory. But basically, that's so people give different definitions towards the reduction of crime. So to say that the campaign issue is the only means for which our crime is reduced in Liberia, I think that's a fallacy. As a practitioner and as an instructor in criminal justice, I would not agree with you. I would say no. We have several reasons. Dry season, we fought crime. Crime will reduce. Dry season, but rainy season has a different title. Let's wait and see. Let's test all of the articles and all of the things that we put in place in the dry season. Let's test the rainy season as well. I'm confident that things that we put in place will work in the rainy season. But that is what my view is. It has not been practicalized. Director Massacre knows that very well. Director Massacre direct and color guide and manipulate our operational arrangement. He knows exactly what we do. He knows it before all of us. He tells us exactly what his views are. We argue it, his views supersede. His views are carried out. We work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes he takes the credit and he takes the beating. That's how police organization work. That's how management work. So for somebody to be naive with a lot of, people cannot be that loyal. You can't show loyalty by being that indisciplined. So I can assure you that I'm not going to give room to people view and arresting people because they have disagreed or they have made some comments that different from my viewpoint. people should be allowed to express their viewpoint. But only when you start to hold people's character, then you speak against it.
Okay. Yeah, here's what we're going to do, Director. How about I take these two last guys together, have them both do their follow-up question, and then you do your closing remark along the way. You can address the concerns that these two follow-up callers have to make. Before doing so, though, I know I really like what I'm hearing, but unfortunately, there are a little bit of contradiction between what you've just said, which I agree with, if I'm at, and what some of your colleagues said to a town hall meeting here in Minnesota just about a couple of weeks ago when they were asked about crime reduction in Liberia. I think, if I'm not mistaken, most of your colleagues that were here one-on-one and the rest of them pinpoint the pimping curfew imposed on the motorbike rider specifically, and I was a bit troubled, as you imagine, but they said that's precisely what has led to reduction in crime. Never mind that dry season, Christmas, New Year, high season, crime will go up, and people need money. But they said it was the motorbike issue. And the part I want to ask about motorbike issue, though, I don't mean to invite you into what they said versus what you've said. What they said is fine. We know. The question I really want to ask about the motorbike issue has to do with civil liberty. The whole idea of imposing curfew on motorbike rider, pimping boys, if it reduce crime, so be it. That's great. But I thought that was meant to be a temporary solution and not a permanent solution. Because when you think about it, there are a lot of people who ride motorbikes in Monrovia. They are not pimping. They got their personal motorbike. I met some family members, friends who got motorbike. But now all of a sudden they can't ride their bike after 10 o'clock. They can't. And even those that are doing it for commercial purposes, how can we have permanent sanction, imposed on one segment of the Liberian people, on one particular entity, business entity, permanently? How isn't there a civil liberty issue there? Do they not have right to, to travel the street? I understand when crime was going off the roof, there was need to do, what had to be done to take care of it. But when that is done, has there been any study to find a way around it to see how they can have the freedom and liberty that everyone else is enjoying, as opposed to being told, if you don't have transportation, you can't afford taxi, you can't plow the street anymore after 10 p.m. How long is that going to go on?
Well, let me regress a little bit to where you were with regards to the viewpoint espoused by my colleague when we went down to Minnesota. Again, I'm a teacher, so I look at things from different perspectives. And besides that, I'm in the operation. I know exactly what goes down, what comes down. Because I've not heard what they told you in Minnesota, but what I know is that you guys are aware that you can't hold one particular issue constant, that a driving force. But one thing I know, what has been apparent, is that the motorcyclist issue, the campaign reduction, and one of the reasons why I consider the campaign to be a primary reason, is not the only reason that crime is reduced, will be the issue of the intelligence we collected. We have people riding the motorbike. We have people making themselves available for armed robbers. We had exactly what they did, what happened, and when we took that particular part out, what happened to the crime in the particular area during the particular time. Okay, and then we took the latter part of the rainy season and the dry season. So there's still more experiment to be done in the rainy season, deep in the rainy season, as to what happened. I can assure you that deep in the rainy season, the issue of campaign will have severe effect because people need to be mobile. But even with that being said, there are still places where the rainy season, you're not going to have enough cops enforcing. That will have its own effect. And because that will have an own effect, we're now working around the clock to actually beef up police officers during the rainy season so as to avert the crime in general. So, but the issue of civil liberty regarding campaign, I can tell you, I have evidence, I have proof that basically, when you have reason to believe that a particular issue is responsible for crime, you have duty to actually take that action. And I have duty to actually protecting the life and property of Liberian because of certain reason. I have proof. If I'm called, I told them, if you call me to the House of Representatives, I will come and provide my proof to you in close to the chamber. Tell you what I got, why I think that 10 o'clock is enough. 7 o'clock was in the Freetown. In New York, in Nigeria, Lagos is 7 o'clock. Freetown has been eliminated in Freetown now. 7 o'clock is there. The reason we took this process, let me be very honest with you. We called you guys to a meeting. They sat in the meeting with us, the pimping guys, fellows. This is where we are. We think that I said to the director of police I wanted to make the team 8 o'clock. And the director said, no, it can be 8 o'clock. You guys will not be. So we put it to them. Where you think will be 8? Where you think we can cut this out? Because this is the evidence we have. This is one thing we think is the driving force to a larger extent that criminal for criminal activity. How do we address it? Oh, well, no. Okay, you want us to do it? We are still convinced that you guys are criminal armed robbery because the guys who are actually owning these bikes, they can pack their bikes by 9:30. That the helper then can pick it up. The helper then the one that can carry it armed robbery from place to place. With that effect, okay, what time do you think we can cut this thing off? Oh, 10 o'clock would be the best time. You show 10 o'clock, okay, mark it down, put it in writing. Put it in writing. Put it up to people. So, I would ask the people in Liberian to accept 10 o'clock as the time to pack your bike. Now, the guys who they talk about private citizens, we said the private citizens and security officers that arrive in the night, the Exicon and other guys who got to go supervise the people on the motorbike, come to my office. We give you a certificate. Take your certificate when you're stopped by the guys on the street. You show them your certificate. This is what I do. This is what I do. Then you go. Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that part.
That's how we. Huh?
See, I did not know that part of it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We have meetings. We send communication to the rural security agency, and we send announcement. If you have a private bike and you have to move about for some reason or the other, you come out and tell you. In the interest of national security, these are things that you put up sometimes, and people have to live for them. Okay, people have to live for some of these kind of restrictions to a larger extent. And when we put that up, people took it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to leave it. Let's take these two guys, like I said. For our fellow, please just keep it very brief. I'll take the two together, and then the director will make his closing remark addressing your questions in the process. 2170, I forgot what your name was, but I'm sure you called before. Would you please state your name again and your follow-up question? 2170-2170.
Yeah, Professor Kromah? Yeah, what is your own recommendation to central government concerning you teaching at the private university and government and security is a good program to help our people? And what is your own recommendation to government to see reason that the central government, the University of Liberia, introduce criminal justice to teaching at the University of Liberia, so private institution? This only teaching at a private institution. And what is your own recommendation to central government in the future to see reason? Because security, you got to encourage a lot of people to go in that area to be motivated. I'm a student of management from the background. It's a two more motivation factor, So what is your own thinking?
Okay, thank you. Director, we're going to take the second one here. Hold on, Director. Let me take the second one so you can address them both. 5481, 5481. Please state your name again and your follow-up question, sir, quickly. 5481.
Yeah, Kafuma, thank you. My name is Farouk Kone.
Okay, what's your follow-up question, Mr. Kone? Yeah.
Actually, the director have already answered my follow-up question because it was when I talk about the traffic congestion and I was concerned about the safety part of it, and actually he did answer that to my satisfaction. So yes, I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. Well, so Director, now the only question you have then is, what is your recommendation to the government of Liberia with respect to introducing criminal justice to the University of Liberia as a course? That's the only question you have. Now, let me add to that. What is the Liberian National Police doing to build the image of the Liberian National Police? Because it appears that obviously the institution is doing a lot of great job, but people in Liberia and people in the diaspora really don't know how are you selling yourself, how are you, marketing all the good things that you're doing. So you can begin your closing remark and address those two questions. Would appreciate it.
I have an emergency call coming in. I have to call to that. But listen, the Liberian National Police. I was invited by the. Are you there?
Yeah, we are here. Yeah, we are here.
Yeah,
Hello? 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 What happened? Hello? Okay. Hello? So we lost the director, obviously. So here, let me do a quick test here. Sam, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll just test in my own line. I was trying to make sure I wasn't disconnected and not the director. Well, he just dropped the line. I think we all heard him say that he had an emergency call coming through. And unless you disagree, but I think I'll call it a night. He's been overly generous. We started 4:30. It's 6:41. That's well over time. For those of you who did not make the show or who just come in, I'd like to apologize. But yeah, so we just got done with our today's show with the Deputy Director for Operations, the Liberian National Police, Ibrahim Kromah. He just spoke on a whole lot of issues. So the repeat broadcast will be available 559-726-1299. Access code 908209 and the pound sign. Otherwise, I'm very sure by next week or so, the audio will be available up on YouTube, just like many of our other shows. So on that note, I'd like to end tonight's show here. I want to thank the guests, even though it's not here to listen. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you, the guests, because there wouldn't be a show if it wasn't you. The guests will not come if there was no audience here, as much as you would not be here if we didn't have the guests. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. It's been a great pleasure. We will let you know who we will be hosting next Sunday or even before that. I want to particularly thank Brother Sayer, Brother George Toto, and a whole couple other fellows who've been helping me, disseminate the information. Brother Mohammed Dollar is also included in that, so I want to thank all of you guys. And if you have any guests in your mind, if you think of anybody who ought to come on the show, please don't hesitate. Call me, recommend, text me. We'll track them, we'll follow them to bring them on the show. You suggest. If you can help us to bring them, that's even better. If you can contact them, we just advise that you let us know so we don't double schedule guests, on the show. This is your show, not mine. So you bring anybody you want. We'll be delighted to host them. So once again, thank you, and you have a wonderful night. Good night.